All right, that's a good start to the homestand, huh? Padres knock off the Rockies, or crush the Rockies, I should say, 8-0. It was close to start it off, but then a huge fifth inning from the Padres, 6 runs there, and the Rockies definitely helped the Padres out. But you're going to take it. The Rockies suck. Go win these games. And at this point, Padres fans, I think some are going to expect a sweep. It's baseball. There's still a major league team on the other side, so if they win the series, I'm still gonna be happy. And there were some key takeaways from tonight. Tatis, his shoulder, it's healthy, and then Nick Pivetta, we should not be concerned. He was pitching in mid 40s that last start at Wrigley. Comes back to San Diego and is pitching in better baseball conditions, and he ends up pitching almost like he pitched in that first game. He goes another outing of 7 innings, 3 hits, no earned runs, just 1 walk, 10 punchies, and his ERA is 1.59. So pretty darn good start. Padres look pretty smart for paying Nick Pivetta. And shout out to Yuki Matsui, Alec Jacob as well. Matsui, I think he's gotten more comfortable going into his second year. And think about this. Yuki Matsui would be a high leverage reliever. The way he's pitching, he'd be a high leverage reliever for a lot of teams, and he is not a high leverage reliever. He's pitching in blowout games for the Padres. That's where the Padres are at with the bullpen. So, I go to the Tom Cosgrove trade yesterday where they trade him to the Cubs, and I'm like, was talented, but I'm going to trust the Padres. And we've got bullpen depth. Matsui is one of those that's a pretty darn effective left handed reliever. So, great job from him. Struck out all 3 guys, all down by way of the K. Love to hear it from Don in the booth. And, Herman Marquez going into this game, it was like, well, he's pitched pretty well against the Padres, but he hasn't faced this Padres team because a lot of his starts were against a Padres lineup that did not look like this Padres lineup. So you could, going into this, you could kind of scratch out what Marquez's stats were against the Padres. And yeah, they got to him there, definitely in that 5th inning. And it was a lot of good team baseball. Iglesias with that single, Bogart scored. By the way, Bogart gets on with a single, takes second base. I've just loved his aggressiveness, using his legs. I was about to say using his speed, but I don't think of Bogarts as this speedy guy. Using his legs to help the Padres win some baseball games here as of late. And I don't know if you have checked out Bogarts as of late, but he is playing pretty darn well. So good for him. Good for the Padres. And Elias Diaz, good to have him on the Padres too, as well, huh? Former Rocky going up and beating the Rockies, doing some damage. And the Rockies, Jason Hayward was, I think it was going to play ball, and it was in catcher's interference. And so both guys end up being on base, and then they score. Iglesias and Hayward score on the Diaz single up the middle. Then Tatis gets on. He takes second base. Hunter Goodman launches a ball. I mean, launches a ball. That ball was like 20 feet above the second baseman's head. He didn't even try, and there was no reason to try. But that was hilarious. I took a still shot of where the ball was when it was kind of like going over second base, and it was like, where are you throwing this ball? Just absolutely launched it. Probably didn't have a grip on it, or he saw Tatis was running, so he just went as quick as he could, and yeah, airmailed it. But that was hilarious. But that's going to sum up the Colorado Rockies this year. I feel like in one play is just they're not good. Manny came through, breaking ball, smacked it down the left field line. Tatis scored, made it 5-0. Iglesias came through again. His first 2 Padre RBIs were in 1 inning. Just put the ball in play. It wasn't hit hard, but he was able to use his first base. McMahon get any throw on there because it wasn't hit hard, and so he had to it, and he didn't be able to get anyone. So it was 6-0 there. Then bottom 6 comes around. Rockies have the worst bullpen in baseball. They're like 30th in every category. So it's not like they were getting better when they were going from Herman Marquez to Chivili or whatever the heck this guy's name is. And Tatis, yeah, that shoulder's good. Bomb. And it was foggy. So if that was like the daytime or just a regular night game with no, like, it was really foggy. You could totally tell on the Padres broadcast. How long would that have gone if it was, regular weather. 112.8 was the exit velocity, 411 feet. The ball was crushed. And then Gavin Sheets also got a homer for himself as well. That was like a home run derby homer almost. Really quick game, despite that long inning. Really quick game, 2 hours and 7 minutes in front of over 44,000. And really, like, the takeaway is, well, there's a few, right? I talked about Tatis, Pavetta. I think Iglesias is another one as well. If he plays well and we know what he can do defensively, what does that do with Jake Cronenworth when he gets back? Is that going to be more of a platoon and not have Cronenworth playing every day? We'll see. I will get to those updates, by the way. But really, like, first game here, great. Rockies suck. Padres, they're trying to be a World Series contending team. They're the best team in baseball right now. You should go take care of business like you did tonight. So, great job. Great bounce back performance from Nick Pavetta. Love it. Now, getting to the updates, the injury updates. So, Croney on the IL. Don't know if you guys saw this. Most of you, I assume, if you're watching this Padres channel, you know that Croney went on the IL today. And this was before the game. Tyler Wade was called back up, so I'm fine with that. Love to see him up here. 10-day IL, non-displaced right rib fracture for Jake. And the good news is it's, again, non-displaced. I'm not a doctor, but I assume that means that he's going to miss less time than if it was displaced. Schilt was talking pregame about, like, fluids and stuff I don't really understand, to be honest. Having to get that out of the rib or just have that calm down. So we'll see how long. Croney was talking to the media, and obviously he's not happy with the timing, and not even the timing, but you never want to get hurt. It sucks. And, have to go on the shelf and not be able to help your team. But the good news is the Padres, they do have some other guys that can help out. They do have someone like Jose Iglesias, who's a very valuable piece. To be able to have him, how many teams would love to have Jose Iglesias come off the bench like this and just go right into the starting lineup? I mean, he hit over 300 in the games that he played last season. Be able to bring him off when Croney has to go on the shelf, that's pretty good luxury. And then to have a major league vet and Tyler Wade to be able to call up from El Paso and put him on the big league roster. Some wanted Eggy, but it's like lefty for a lefty. I think we got to kind of realize that Wade can play the outfield as well. He was in center the other night in El Paso before he got called up. So just saying. But yeah, obviously unfortunate. I said this yesterday in my video about, maybe is Tatis going on the IL because Connor Joe wasn't in the El Paso lineup. That ended up not being anything. And Connor Joe is still with El Paso and can't be homered tonight, by the way, I believe. Again, Wade ends up getting the call up. I thought, like I said last night, that Tatis would have been more likely to go on the IL over Croney because what we were told was it was cramping and Croney was going to be lobbying to play in the lineup, to get in the lineup for that series finale in Sacramento. So I was like, okay, yeah, that's more of the shoo-in that he's going to totally be in the lineup on Friday. Yeah. Tatis, sure, he was saying, like, no, he's not going to go on the IL and all that, but I'm sorry, that swing, to me, that's just a red flag there. But it seems like everything's good. Great. We'll have to keep an eye on that, obviously, long term, because it's been a problem, obviously, for Tatis in his Padres tenure. And it could be like, he's good right now, but what if he goes back to swinging with one hand? I don't know if you guys noticed, but it seemed to me like there was a real effort to follow through with two hands today. So is he just going to do that the rest of the season? And is he really going to make sure that he does that? Because when he got hurt the other night, it was a one-handed finish on that left shoulder. So might want to. He obviously has power with the two-hand finish, as we saw tonight. So I would hope that he remains with the two-hand finish because need him healthy. Need that guy healthy. No update on Merrill, really. Just hopefully he's back on April 18th. As for the other updates, IL Darvish. Let me get to a Darvish update. So Mike Shildt said today Darvish has played more aggressive catch. This was what he was told, because it seems like Darvish was playing this catch while the team was on the road. So more aggressive catch, but he has not gotten on a mound yet. So that's the update that I got there for Darvish. Sean Reynolds, obviously, remember he has that foot injury. He threw a bullpen today, is what it seems like, aiming for a live batting practice next week and then a rehab assignment. Haven't heard anything about Brian Hoeing, by the way. I just connect those two because those two were not ready to start the season in the Padres bullpen. And what was the other update? Waldron. Yeah, he's going to be out for a while. He was transferred today from the 15-day IL to the 60-day IL, left oblique muscle strain. Remember that he suffered during one of his spring training outings, his last spring training outing in the Cactus League. He was fighting for that last spot in the rotation, but then obviously that totally took him out, and that, really was a blessing, sort of. I mean, Randy, you never want someone to get hurt, but like for Randy Vasquez, that I think that really helped him make the roster. And then Kolek or Hart, one of them was going to make the roster, I think, and it ended up being Kyle Hart. And Kyle Hart is, I believe, going to start tomorrow. I think, yeah, he should. And then I think Michael King would start the series finale against Kyle Freeland. But yeah, just take care of business. Those are the updates that I have injury wise. With Cronenworth out, as much as I love him, I don't know how much of an impact it will have, because I do think the Padres, they have still, obviously they don't have, but they still have, they still have, man, they obviously have Gavin Sheets, as we saw tonight. Xander, not so much pop, but he has been hitting the ball hard. So that's still a plus. They still have him. And there are guys that can connect. We'll see how many at-bats Oscar Gonzalez can get. So I'm not too concerned about this Padres team with Crony being out. Obviously, you want him healthy. I think that he is someone that helps this team. I like him defensively, and there's still an impact to be had there with him offensively. But it's not like the Padres are having someone that doesn't have big league experience and didn't hit over 300 last year and doesn't play good defense. It's not like they're having that person replace Crony. It's Jose Iglesias who's going to get a lot of the reps. And then if it's not him, it's Tyler Wade, who I know some Padres fans they may not be the biggest fans of Tyler Wade, but he can play defense. He has the speed. He does. I think he's a Mike Schilt type player. Values those little things. So it's definitely not the worst situation. If you're going to pick one or the other, you'd rather have Cronenworth out over Tatis. You don't want either of them out. But if we're just looking at the positives, that's what I would bring up for positives. And they're 11-3. And yeah, it's the Rockies. But again, I think I should say it's the Rockies. Like, it's important. These need to be important games that the Padres take care of business with. Because if you go 5-8 against the Rockies instead of 8-5, and you don't win the division by a couple games, or you miss the playoffs, or you don't get a home playoff series, a home wild card series, or something, right? You could be looking back at these games like, man, really? The Rockies we couldn't beat, we couldn't win the series. So this is one step in this weekend, hoping for the sweep, but take care of business. And I don't want them to just go 8-5. I'd love for them to go 10-3 against the Rockies. The Rockies stink. Take advantage, get some sweeps out of this, and keep building that record 100, because you never know with these pitching is bullpen up and down roller coaster. You could have a big injury in the lineup as well, more big injuries. You just don't know. Or you could just be in a big slump as a lineup collectively. So you can never take these victories back. Keep winning these games, keep getting further and further above 500, and you're still first place in the NL West. So it was a fun night for sure. And the Padres, they're still surviving, and not just surviving, but thriving in some spots, even with some of these injuries. And I think that shows the depth, the talent that is on this team. And health is a big thing. With Arise healthy, with Manny healthy, with Bogarts healthy. Haven't heard anything about his wrist. with Tatis. Seems like he's healthy now with that shoulder. So it's good. And again, happy to see Nick Pivetta bounce back tonight.